Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between PixiCode as our US and dodor12345 as our Wehrmacht. So this was a replay submitted to the Relic Discord. This game's played at around 1,100 to 1,200 ELO. This player asked for feedback about a specific strategy from his opponent, and I'm going to try to avoid spoiling it as long as I can, and take a look at this game together. Map today is going to be Angeville Farms. I mean, this is the classic map. Appeared first alphabetically in the list in Company of Heroes 1. It's been around for literally 20 years. Got a lot of cluttered up right side with a lot of hedgerows dividing up here, lots of buildings, not very open sightlines. But of course both victory points are on this side, so you see a lot of action on this side generally. Left side of the map is much more open, of course, but only has one victory point. So our German player has gone for the Italian Coastal Battle Group, giving him access to these Coastal Reserve squads. Rather beefy unit, all things considered. They also have some abilities to throw down structures. Basically everything an engineer can do, of course. That said, not super effective at close range, but are effective when in cover, right? So I can't show you because the buff just wore off, but they do get a buff standing in cover. Let's see if we can see it happen here. I guess we'll see in a minute. In any case, US player going for a rather standard build. Went for the heavy weapons battle group. Did add in a Jeep after his first scout, and then into rifleman. German player went for an infantry squad, followed by a heavy machine gun, followed by another infantry squad. I think this is a little bit more common at lower elo. It's more comfortable to add on heavy machine guns for the crowd control. Not that there's anything wrong with adding a heavy MG. All I'm trying to say is at high level, folks add on. It's every game. It's 3 infantry squads or 3 Coastal Reserve squads, or what have you, right? So I do really like that he's working together. This Coastal Reserve squad working together with this heavy machine gun to deal out, protecting each other, right? Protecting each other's weaknesses. So map is coming out in favor of our US player. He's done a really nice job of distracting his opponent, I would say. Not sure. Well, I must have missed something. In any case, heavy machine guns probably got to leave the area. He is surrounded here. What I'm trying to get at here is that our US player controls both the major fuel points on the map right now, and it's going to give him a significant fuel income advantage. So well done by him. Getting up in his opponent's face on this side, and then further distracting him down here. And I think this is part... So you know how I just said that heavy machine guns are less popular at a high level? I think it has to do with capturing power. Imagine this situation where our German player has one more infantry unit, right? He'd have more dudes here, and yes, he'd be less effective at crowd control, but he didn't need crowd control in this particular fight that was just happening. He needed more infantry, in my opinion. So, coming back out of the base now, and did manage to capture the left side, recognizing his opponent is strong on the right. The machine gun gonna set up. 2 heavy machine guns. I thought this was a Coastal Reserve squad, but it is, of course, a heavy machine gun. This is a fairly common strategy to see 2 heavy machine guns working together. Our US player is adding on his infantry support section now, so Captain just hit the field. Riflemen coming in from seemingly all angles here. I don't think there's windows. Okay, there are windows on that side of the house. So typically, when you see players going for the coastal battle group, this battle group is known for, I would say, two things. Well, okay, it's known for a few things. The big one that comes to my mind first, though, is bunkers, right? And that strategy has been nerfed significantly in a couple different ways. The big one that I'm aware of is they nerfed the anti-tank bunkers. So you can't just spam them infinitely. They take up pop cap space now. I think they did some other things too, but I'm not up to date on the patch notes. So all I know is that this battle group is not as strong as it once was. The other thing it's known for is the artillery officer, I would say. This artillery officer in the right hands can be absolutely devastating. I have another video on my channel. I think it was... I want to say it was Barbosa versus Stefan JF, I think. In any case, if you're curious how strong an artillery officer can be, I highly recommend you check out that game. And I think I'm going to apologize to our Wehrmacht player. I thought his name was Dor. I don't know why I thought it was. That's the dyslexia at work there, Dodor, I think. In any case, apologies to him. Flak half-track on the field here. And has gone for the assault carrier plus exchangeable parts. I did not catch if he teched up before buying this. But for those of you that don't know, you can actually upgrade. See how it says 8-second cooldown time? Not cooldown. 8 seconds to research that. That is significantly faster with this exchangeable parts. So, if you're gonna go for, if you go for an unupgraded half track, you can pick this upgrade up and then research it very quickly. It also can take your opponent off guard, right? You can be in the middle of a battle and you see a vehicle and you instantly switch. So, US player making a big push on this left side. Hopefully for our German player, he recognizes that is happening because he needs to pick up some territory on the right. Well, that is available to him. He has added on his first bunker near his base here. Curious what he wants to do with that. And the answer is a medical bunker. So I think that's a little unusual to build a medical bunker this far forward. That said, he can use it as he's walking this way. Has he also picked up... Okay, he has not picked up the medical station in addition. So, I would recommend that this player build the bunker maybe here, closer to the base, right? His units can be healing while they're in base. That said, being out here, he is still going to be able to heal. So I guess it's not the end of the world, but not where I would have built it. Wehrmacht player has added on the anti-aircraft gun. This gun fills an interesting niche. Got really high damage. Also can't be... It's like an AT gun in that it can't be suppressed. So it's actually pretty good at dealing with heavy machine guns, in my opinion. But it does not have as much crowd control. It's more about that damage, and it's effective against vehicles too, right? So this is pretty decent against the 75mm. 75mm is barraging this AA gun, but just going to move out of the way there. Heavy machine gun leading the charge here. He does have units nearby. They do need to get up on this guy before it gets flanked. Which is happening right now. Going to have to bail out with that heavy machine gun. And meeting force with force. Both players very focused on this left side. German is taking a little bit of territory on the right. Did manage to capture or push that rifleman squad away. Love to see this heavy machine gun capture here while this coastal reserves pushes up. It looks like our player wants to keep his units together. And of course he can't see into the fog of war, so that said, he should recognize, or may recognize, that there are a lot of US forces on this side, and he's also seen more that he's pushed back, so from his perspective, there can't be too much going on the right side. And it might seem like I'm ragging on him. I'm not ragging on him. I know it's really difficult in the moment to recognize what your opponent is doing, especially when there's so much going on. But, you know, pushing your own limits is how you win games. So, is capturing this fuel now. Engineers on the right side picking up their own fuel. US player adding on a second half track here is going for 275 millimeters. This is a very common strategy, especially with the heavy weapons group. Fortunately for him, driving into these coastal reserves here a little bit. The machine gun is going to suppress those engineers. Grenade from over the hedge there, nicely done, is going to force this heavy machine gun to retreat. I think they will get out of there. It's going to be tight, though. And it looks like they're ought to make it. This German player just added on an artillery officer. So what makes this thing so cool is this observer overwatch can really lock down an area. Make it, you know, it's an area denial tool, right? It's not super great against killing units, but if your opponent sticks around in the circle of doom, they're going to have a bad time. I do like that our US player is being active with his barrages here. And while he hasn't actually hit anything home, the fact that he's using the ability is a step above a lot of players, as surprising as that might sound. Flank here from the Germans, going to push back these US forces on the right side. Do like that our German is capturing this cutoff point here. You know, he was capturing that fuel on the left, but it looks like he stopped, and you know, I'm hurting for him because I feel like he needs that fuel income fairly desperately. Our US player, on the other hand, is just rolling in the fuel right now. Going up to a motor pool now. So motor pool is an interesting choice. I think so. Well, it's such a weird topic. I think the US are in a weird spot when it comes to the amount of fuel it costs to unlock vehicles. And it feels like if you stop off at the motor pool, you're kind of stuck on motor pool tech for a really long time because it's kind of an investment. On the flip side, you know, the tank depot is like 135, 145 fuel, which is significant. And getting up that high can be really tough. So, you know, folks might feel trapped into the motor pool. I know I'm arguing both sides of the argument here. It just feels like they're in a weird place, and I can't articulate what I would like to see different. Map turning a bit red here. German player is going to... Well, I was going to say he was about to capture that point, but it looks like these riflemen are going to put a stop to that. So nicely done by the U.S. Good timing there. While this has been happening, our U.S. player has actually managed to control this fuel on the right side. German player adding on a Jaeger. I think that's a really good choice against half-tracks because half-tracks are actually very good at dealing with vehicles, the 75mm variant, I mean. And these Panzerschrecks available from the Jaegers can do really, really well against half-tracks. That said, our US player did switch to the quad-mount variant. It's not often you see players swapping between variants. I love to see that here. You know what I don't? I'm assuming... Yeah, it's literally free. Right? I mean, that sounds insane to me as I'm saying it out loud, but it is literally free. So why not switch between these? It's not something you see very often, so I really like seeing that here. Current player is throwing down some more bunkers here. How many has he got? He's up to 2. This one's been upgraded to a heavy machine gun. So basically going to make his opponent's life difficult through the middle. I don't think our US player knows about that bunker just yet. But I think he can make short work of it with some AT guns, some of his vehicles, of course. If he's feeling really desperate, could go for some mortars. I think indirect fire in general is pretty good against this battle group, especially the way our German player is playing it. That said, indirect fire has its own issues, but I think it's pretty decent here. Nice Nice overwatch ability by this artillery officer right here, denying his opponent's advance. Just a little bit, giving him time to bring in those heavy machine guns. Greyhound sitting at maximum range. That's the way you want to use your vehicles. You want two things. You want your infantry in front of your vehicles, and you want your vehicles at maximum range, because it makes it that much harder for your opponent to reach out and deal damage to your vehicle, right? So our US player feels a little bit stuck here. He's waiting for this Greyhound to remove these heavy machine guns, but I'd love to see him being active on the right side of this map while that's happening. He might actually know that that heavy machine gun's there. What I was kind of getting at is that he should at least face check over here and start heading this way, and then find that bunker and then come back, you know, or retreat. And that's okay too. German player adding on a martyr now. It's a good answer to this. The martyr 2 taps half tracks, and it does pretty darn well against the Greyhound. That said, half tracks can definitely beat the martyr if they get the jump on it. Of course, our US player only has one 75mm at this time, but he may switch over. Overwatch still coming out. Now this martyr's a bit far forward, does need to be really careful here. Eating a shot from that Greyhound. And now eating a shot from that 75mm. 75mm cannot win, won't win this fight, but the martyr's gonna back off. Both players sort of respecting the other's units there. Coastal battle group able to, excuse me, coastal infantry barely getting out of there. A gun chilling on this right side. And it really does feel like our US player has gotten a little laser focused on this left side at the expense of the right side. Moving in here now, seeing what's out there. I mean, some vehicles throwing down with this AA gun would be pretty devastating to our German. And of course, you know, our US player doesn't know any of this, right? He doesn't know what's in the fog of war. And my point is that he needs to explore the fog of war, right? He needs to see what's out there. And I know that's really tough to do. You know, me personally, I struggle with the... I mean, they make jokes on Reddit that this game is who can babysit their units better, and to some degree that's true. So you know, being able to be everywhere on the map at the same time is a skill, right? And when you push that limit, you sometimes lose units. US player getting aggressive here, pushing away this AA gun. AA gun already veterancy too. That's pretty scary. Don't think our US player's going to be able to get it. Actually, the heavy machine gun saving the day here. Half tracks coming in to support. Artillery overwatch activated here. US player is going to step out just outside of that range. AA gun contending with this Greyhound. Greyhound 8, some form of AT. I'm not sure what it was. Oh, yeah, these Automod 42s there. Great. 75mm half track trying to get involved here. AA half track sitting a little... Oh, there. Okay, we're back to 275mm, which I really like. German player, of course, mirroring his opponent here, which is really smart. Is going to wipe that AA half track with the AA gun with the barrage. Also picking up the martyr there. It's nicely done. I think our German should be considering backing up here just a little bit. He didn't need to stand in that barrage. He did have the support of this MG42 bunker, and he could still provide overwatch on this low fuel point here. US player moving over to the right. Artillery officer putting a stop to that. Doesn't look like the US player's seen it yet. Both players trying to be active all across the map here. And Captain calling in a barrage there, driving the unit off the fuel. So both players coming out pretty even here on map control. And our Germans actually done a really good job controlling the victory points overall. Both players have clearly been active on the victory points, but German player coming out a little bit ahead. And this is a rather red map now. You know, despite how red the map is, our US player has a couple key points namely this fuel on the left. That's a big part of his income. He also has his close fuel. So despite the fact that he's behind, he's doing okay for himself. So 75mm moving up to this undefended bunker. That's a great time to deal with a bunker, is when your opponent is not nearby. That is the strength of the bunkers, by the way, is if you know, if you build them and then you hang out nearby them, it is very difficult for your opponent to remove them without persistent indirect fire, like a mortar. German player adding on a troop in here. Has added the Panzerschrecks to those Jaeger. Okay, and our US, as I say that, our US player did add on a mortar here. I think this is pretty good. You can sit somewhere like right here and hit both the bunker on the left and the one on the right. A gun going really deep here. US player not in a position to punish, unfortunately. He's capturing this right side. German player being active with his coastal reserves, planting down mines. That's beautiful to see. Any extra APM you've got, use it. Is there more mines here? There are. Has he got more? I wonder. There's a barrage coming out of these 75mm. Wonder if we'll see another bunker out of our German here, somewhere like here. He still hasn't upgraded this bunker. Might see him do an anti-tank there. I think that's a good spot for one, with a rather large arc and a huge open sightline. Yeah, US player feeling a little trapped in his base right now. Wonder if the... Okay, so I was going to say, this tree can end in the artillery emplacement. I think the artillery emplacement is a little bit of a meme right now. I mean, it packs a punch, don't get me wrong. But for whatever reason, it's not super popular in the meta. So actually, I don't see this tree very often, so I'm going to see what he picked up. Man bunkers, which we knew. Okay, so you can actually designate your bunkers to do that off-map artillery again. US player trying to get out of his base here a little bit. Bunkers get extra health and heal when out of combat. Very cool. Reduces the cost of all field defenses. Also very cool. So, nicely done by our US player. Managed to save up for this Pershing. And this is going to be really tough for our German to deal with. He has literally zero anti-tank other than his Jaegers. And his Jaegers are not going to be nearly enough. He has not upgraded this concrete bunker to AT. And frankly, I think that... yeah, I think our German didn't do enough to prepare for this eventuality. I think he was feeling in control here, right? Which is to say... Ooh. Nice, it's just amazing how much damage this tank does. Yeah, I mean, our German did not do enough to prepare for the arrival of this Pershing, and in theory, he should have known that this was coming, just because his opponent hasn't shown very many vehicles at all. He also could surmise that his opponent was going to have this battle group to begin with, right? Because he's seen the half-track switch there set up. Panzer IV on the field, though. Now, the Panzer IV cannot go toe-to-toe with a Pershing, as you can see from that huge amount of damage. Fortunately for our German, does not have anywhere to retreat to, though. AT grenade gonna paralyze, and Pershing gonna finish off the Panzer IV there. It's a nice pickup, recognizing his opponent didn't have any tools to deal with his Pershing. I'm wondering if we're gonna... I mean, our German has lost... What did he lose? He lost his Truppen. And the Panzer IV... 75mm going down. Got this Tell me he upgraded. He did not. I guess that was just the Panzerschrecks there. Doing work for him. Pioneers burning away these engineers on the left side. Is managing to capture some stuff on the right. What is this over here? Greyhound. Rifleman coming in to capture. Oof, hitting a mine there. We've seen our German planting lots of mines. It was really nice by our US player to add on the minesweeper, recognizing the threat. Pershing pushing into this bunker. Still not been upgraded. How much does this cost? I mean, it's only 45. Geez, 39 munitions to go to an anti-tank bunker. I mean, he can literally upgrade this thing once a minute, so it's a little disappointing that our German hasn't upgraded this. He has gone for the, I thought that was an artillery overwatch from this bunker. Is that an active ability? Can you tell I don't see? Yeah, okay, I see. So he designated this bunker to become an overwatch. Have machine guns setting up, gonna do pretty much nothing to this Pershing. Drek's gonna push it away, saving the bunker for the time being, it seems. And yeah, our German's been bleeding heavily here, losing all his pioneers. Does have a Martyr. Martyr activating its long-range ability there. I don't think the Martyr does pretty well against the front armor of this Pershing with with 300 there, which is totally ridiculous. It's actually not that ridiculous, it's just really good. Mortar barraging away. Oh, that's not the mortar, that's the 75mm. Like to see that. And, you know, so it might feel like a losing battle to be barraging a bunker that's being repaired. But you gotta remember, you're wasting your opponent's time. Black Dragon artillery barrage called in here on this bunker. Our US player said, get this bunker the heck out of here, and just nuked it from orbit. Nothing wrong with that if you got the munitions to spare. I mean, he was floating 400 munitions there for a minute, so nothing wrong with calling in that ability. So what I was trying to say is that, you know, if your opponent is spending their unit's time repairing a bunker, you're getting double benefit because your barrages from something like indirect fire are damaging this unit that's repairing and literally costing him manpower. You're also damaging this bunker, and you're wasting your opponent's time while they repair. Because you know what your mortar's for? It is exactly for that purpose of destroying static units, whether they be infantry standing still or bunkers, right? So your mortar is getting value every time it's attacking this unit, so you just have to be active with that barrage calling. Same thing applies to your 75mm half-tracks, right? You got them, use them, and waste your opponent's time. And it can feel a bit frustrating with how immovable those bunkers might seem, but it becomes a war of attrition, and ultimately I think the mortars win that war of attrition. That indirect fire wins that war. So US player adding on a heavy machine gun. German player, I'm not sure where he goes from here. He is spamming out martyrs. And there's nothing... What am I trying to say? Yeah, I don't know about a flak panzer. I think that... I mean, our German clearly needs AT. I do think that the anti-tank bunker would be a better option. It is a good option in combination with these martyrs. It's a real shame he hasn't upgraded this bunker. I'm gonna stop ragging on it, but I'm sad about it. Okay, I'm just sad about it. Pershing holding down the line here. Mortars sitting in the back, waiting for some orders there. This player's going to make a big push on this left side. Looks like the German's going to repay him with a push on the right. Heavy machine gun's going to duke it out there. Rifleman going deep. Pershing helping out. Nice side hit, getting that martyr to turn. Second martyr in position. Pershing respecting it. 75mm chilling. Armored car going to push in, maybe distract this martyr, and then come in with the Pershing, hopefully. Not quite. Looks like he might just try to rotate around there. And of course, the scout car can beat a martyr in this particular setup. German player saw it happening, but I don't think that's martyr's going to get out of there. AA gun. Going to drive away those riflemen. And the martyr's going to get picked up there. So nice little flank for our German there. Or, excuse me, nice little flank by our US player. German player added on this flak panzer. I don't know that I agree with that choice. You know, I mean, this Pershing is by far his biggest threat, right? And flak panzer can definitely do some work against infantry, but I don't feel like the infantry is what's got him on the ropes here. AA gun buttoning that Pershing there, and then a barrage called in on this concrete bunker. I don't know if you saw that a second ago, but these Jaegers were trying to shoot that Panzerschreck and unfortunately hit his own unit. I think that's a Black Dragon call-in. It is indeed, so this bunker is gone. Good effect on target there from the US player. I love how much that camera shakes. And Pershing picking up another coastal battle group, so I think the writing is on the wall for our German player here, and yeah, he's going to throw in the towel. Yeah. I think, so, if I didn't spoil it already, you know, the person that submitted the replay was asking for feedback on how to deal with bunkers. And I think the answer is almost always indirect fire. Another great answer is AT guns. And you can attack with AT guns into the fog of war by attacking ground. Both those options that I listed require you to micro the unit, at least a little bit, in order to destroy the bunker, because your opponent is going to repair it, and they can repair it. They can't out-repair your damage, but if they are actively repairing and actively screening for their bunker, they're going to be able to defend it pretty well. So in that game, you know, the German left those bunkers fairly undefended, and I think there were some opportunities to get aggressive on those bunkers. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.